Hi, welcome to the Wardenberg Family Farm. Join me as I have a tomato canning marathon. Okay, if you've never seen our channel before, I'm Brenda and my husband Don's behind the camera right now. And we have a 40-acre farm. And all summer long, I've been freezing tomatoes. I didn't have time to do anything with them, so I just stuck them in gallon bags and stuck them in the freezer. Now it's time to turn them into something. So today is the first day of a tomato canning marathon where I hope to turn all 75 pounds of these tomatoes into a delicious Italian tomato sauce.
Now you have more tomatoes down in the freezers, don't you?
Yes, there's more down there that I have to thaw. I'm not even sure how many. I think at least 50 more pounds. And that will turn into pizza sauce and soup tomorrow. But for today, this is, I hope it's the majority of the tomatoes, but I didn't really have time to even count. So I'm going to experiment today. A couple viewers, last time I did a tomato thing, they said that sauce is so much better when you roast the tomatoes. Now I have a problem because my tomatoes are already frozen. I'm going to experiment with roasting frozen tomatoes. Apparently you can do it. Now mine are thawed out, and I'll be getting most of the juice out of them, and I'll show you what I do with the juice then. And roasting them and see how that turns out. I don't know. I'm going to experiment.
I love roasted veggies. They are better.
Yes. So I hope to roast the tomatoes, the onions, and the garlic, and then turn it into a sauce. But we're going to see how the first batch of tomatoes roast, having been frozen. But the first thing I have to do is get rid of as much juice as possible. So I'll be putting these in colanders and draining all the juice out, and I'll show you what I do with the juice. I'm not getting rid of it. Well, frozen tomatoes can be roasted. I mean, they have a lot of fluid in them still. I think it would still be better to roast them before they're frozen, but I think this is going to give it the roasted flavor. And I decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to do most of the batch with roasted tomatoes, but I'm going to do a small batch, not roasting, and then we're going to see if we can tell a difference between the roasted tomatoes and the non-roasted. So now I just have to get the next batch of tomatoes roasting along with onions and garlic. Then we'll be ready to start actually making sauce.
All right.
Oh, and I do have 3 pots of the juice boiling away, boiling down to get all that good flavor without all the liquid.
I noticed that the humidity in the house went from about 40% up to 58.
It's a lot of tomato humidity.
You come in and breathe in tomatoes.
So, onward and upward, time to roast some more tomatoes.
Hey, a question. You got quite a setup here today.
Yeah.
Well, you got 3 burners going over there, induction burners. I mean, 2 on the stove, they're induction, and 1 induction in the corner, and then you have
my 2 portable ones for the canning, which I soon need to fill those up and get the jars heated up too.
This feels like an industrial kitchen here with
it is today.
5 induction burners going.
The people that built this house in 1840 could probably never have envisioned this.
No, for a lot of reasons.
For so many reasons.
Yeah.
But by the end of the day, we're going to have a lot of sauce.
And it smells great.
It does. Yeah.
I'm pumped.
We might have to have spaghetti for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 more pans in the oven to roast with garlic in it. I want to roast the garlic and the onions too. And it broke my heart we had to buy onions today. I've used all of our first harvest of onions. We didn't have a great onion year. So this is the first time we bought onions in probably, 3 or 4 years?
I felt funny in the grocery store buying it, like I needed to look over my shoulder like, hey look, there's a farmer over there buying onions.
I hate to buy anything, I know we can grow, but it just was not a big year for onions, and I needed plenty. So there's still a few more out there to pick. They're not quite ready, so I'll have a few more onions to use, but we're going to be buying onions this winter. And next year I'll plant a boatload of onions. So now I'll get these in the oven with the onions. The last batch will be roasting, and I'm going to go ahead and puree all the ones that have already roasted and get it started making sauce. That's the fun part. This part's kind of like, the sauce making is the fun part. So get these in the oven.
You seem like you're super organized this year.
No. No, just got to keep up with stuff.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Hey, Rube.
Look. The contractor fixed the door down here.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't see it before, Ruby's our like 10-month-old puppy, and she's got a lot of energy. One day she was running in the kitchen,
Yeah.
ran into this door that was open, broke the door in half.
Uh-oh.
So you can't even tell now. He fixed it really well. So my contractor's pretty good.
Yeah, he's good.
Pretty handsome too. He only has one customer.
Yeah.
So while the last trays of tomato and garlic and tomato and onion are roasting, I'm going to puree all the ones that are already roasted and get them in this sauce pot ready to start making sauce. So my handy dandy Vitamix, I love it. It purees. You don't know there's any skin, any seeds. It's just smooth, beautiful sauce. So it gets loud. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what?
Yeah. Do you think this does more than your average blender?
I think it does. I mean, they're so strong and powerful, you can blend anything in there.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's extremely thick because none of the juice is in there, okay? I'm boiling the fluid down so it gets, not as thick, but I will end up putting some of the boiled down liquid in the sauce, and then I'll probably have to cook it a little bit together. But a lot of the liquid's cooking down very well already, so all that flavor and all those nutrients will be in here, just evaporating all the water off of it.
Okay, so you talked about this like this was not the only option. What do other folks do?
A lot of people just dump the juice. For frozen tomatoes, you can just dump all the juice.
But they get rid of the skins, though.
Yeah, a lot of people don't can with skins on. I do. I do wash all the tomatoes like crazy, scrub them, all bad spots are out. So I'm a rule breaker, what can I say? But a lot of people then do say you can do it with skins on. So it just depends how much you want to follow the rules. But I think this is going to be really good sauce. I'll be anxious to see if there's a difference between the stuff that's roasted and the stuff that isn't. That'll be interesting. We'll see. But time to do more pureeing.
I opened the windows from the top down because they were all steamed.
Yep.
And so neighbors are
better in
probably seeing steam come out of the house, wondering what's going on over
And
here.
smelling tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, Brenda's at it again.
Yeah. Hey, just a quick sidebar. When I was running the dog this morning, I noticed that our winter wheat is really coming up. It's looking good.
Oh, good. That's amazing since we really haven't had rain.
I know. It's been like 2 weeks with no rain, but the wheat seed
That's okay.
came up looking really good.
I'll take it. I wonder when we're going to get rain. Hopefully not too long.
I don't know.
We need it.
Folks might not know what winter wheat is. You start growing it in the fall, and then when winter comes, it just goes dormant. And then when spring, then it goes off like a rocket. So you end up harvesting your wheat in early summer. So then you can sneak in another crop. So we'll do soybeans in the second half of the season next year.
Time to blend more. It's going to be noisy.
Hold your ears.
Donnie's been out working on the farm. He had to pull a bunch of hay out of the barn and do some other stuff outside. So while he was doing that, I went ahead and pureed all the sauce, all the roasted and all the unroasted, all the onions, all the garlic, everything is pureed and in the sauce. And I took what liquid had cooked down and divided it between the two. And I've done a little bit of tasting as I was doing it. I did put all the salt, pepper, and spices in. It's pretty much the way it should be. But now I want to taste it and see how much difference there is between unroasted and roasted. It'll be interesting. Time for the taste test. We're going to do it together. Like I say, I've had little samplings of it, but we're both just going to taste it flat out and see which one we like best or if there's even a difference.
Now all I can taste or smell right now is hay, since I've had a nose full of it.
Well, this will change that.
Okay.
Now I know which one's which. He doesn't.
Okay.
So let's taste this one first, okay?
All right. They look similar. Oh, this one looks a little more liquidy.
Tomato. Yeah, I taste the Italian spices.
It tastes, there's a lot of great tomato flavor. Almost tastes fresh. Not quite, but it has that, what is that, acidity?
Probably taste the acidity a little bit.
Yeah. It's good. And when you use this in something, it will be modified and whatever, sugars and stuff in it. Okay.
Depending what you make with
it. Has a little, still has a tang to it, what I'm trying to say.
Now taste this one. See if you can tell any difference.
This looks a little thicker.
I might not have got the water distributed evenly, or the juice.
Okay.
Here.
Wow. That one tastes like almost more like a finished product.
It is.
It's smoother
Oh my
and
gosh.
richer. It almost tastes like you put sugar in it. It's a little sweeter.
Well, when you roast the tomatoes, they're basically caramelized. This is the
Okay.
roasted one.
That makes
and
sense.
this is the fresh, not roasted.
Well, my preference by a long shot is this.
Mine is too.
Yeah.
And as I was tasting it, cooking, I'm thinking, I do taste a difference, but it is, now that they've simmered and sat for a while, there's a big difference.
I didn't want it to be because this is a lot more work.
It's a lot more work.
If I'd have known, I would have. If they were close, I probably have a bias toward not having you to do all that additional work.
But they're not close.
No.
I mean, I know there's many different types of sauce out there. Everybody has their own sauce thing, but I've only ever made without roasting it. From now on, I will be roasting the tomatoes. And I think what I'll do is, when I pull the tomatoes in from the garden, I'm going to roast them before I freeze them. So when I get them out of the freezer, they're roasted and ready to go.
But see, there's so many different uses for tomato sauce. Sometimes you might want one with more acidity,
I
a little
don't
more
know.
of a bite,
I don't know.
like a fresh.
I'd say 90% of the time we use it on pasta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for us. But widely, though, tomatoes are used in so many things that it might be a useful tool to have. Some has a little more acid and a
Maybe.
little fresher.
But I think
Tasting.
for me and us, I'm actually going to pour the unroasted into the roasted and put it all
Yeah.
together. It's 80% roasted, 20% unroasted. So it's going to change it a little bit, but it'll still have that good roasted flavor.
That's good for me because
So,
I definitely prefer
I like this one much more. And like I say, we usually have it on pasta. So that's my preference.
So the way you made this, though, is different than other people, isn't it? I mean, with how many
being
ways?
frozen.
Frozen, number one, and then you had skins and seeds that you
In
Vitamix.
both of them.
Okay. Is there any other difference?
I don't know. But
Were they all the same kind of tomato, or what
it was a
tomatoes
big
did you
mix.
use?
I use mostly Amish paste, but any extra
Okay.
slicing tomatoes I have left over goes in with it too. I even had one bag of cherry tomatoes. So it's all those tomatoes mixed together.
Okay.
I think I will only ever make roasted again, but it is a pain to roast 75 pounds of potatoes or tomatoes in one day. I will, as I'm freezing them, I'm going to roast them first and then freeze them.
I'm just curious if you buy tomato sauce in the store, or if you buy pasta sauce or whatever, are they roasted,
I don't
do you
know.
think?
I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know for us and the way I like it, this is going to be the sauce for us from now on.
I think of all the things we've ever tasted together, you and I, this is the biggest difference.
It's a huge difference.
It's huge.
Yeah, we did the sun-dried tomato, and there was definitely differences, but this
Yeah.
is like drastic.
Yeah.
So I'm shocked, actually. I didn't think it was going to be that much different. But
Shocked.
But now I know I'm going to have to roast the tomatoes from here on out. So now I got to get it simmered a little bit longer and bottle it up and get it canned.
Looking forward to enjoying it.
Yeah.
We gonna have some tonight?
I think we'll have some spaghetti tonight.
Okay, I gotta go back to the barn.
Okay, you go back out and do farm work and I'll can. Okay, it's day 2, second round of tomatoes. Yesterday we wound up with 14 quarts of sauce and 7 pints. So that was a pretty productive day. And I started off today exactly the same. I'm roasting all the tomatoes and all the garlic and all the onions. And then I'll puree it all up, and I'm going to split some for soup and some for pizza sauce. So, and I have the juice boiling down just like I did yesterday. And I didn't really explain, I guess, fully why I do that. We always want the juice to cook out of the sauce so the sauce thickens up. Well, if you have a whole pot of tomatoes, you can't turn the heat up too high or the tomatoes will scorch on the bottom. But if you just have juice in there, you can have it up completely high. It boils like crazy and it boils off a lot faster. So it reduces the juice separate from the tomatoes, and then I add what I want back into the tomatoes. But you keep all that flavor and all that stuff in there. So I have 2 pots going today. It's just about done now. I won't boil it down as much today because I want a lot of it for the soup. So I'm to the point I have all the tomatoes roasted. I'm just starting to puree it up, and then I'll start actually making things.
Now there is one downside to boiling it like you did.
What would that be, dear?
A fire alarm drill.
We have our granddaughters here today, and there's so much steam it actually set off the smoke detectors. So we had to quickly open a bunch of windows and a bunch of doors, and it cleared out. But for a little bit it was a little crazy. But I think I'll always do sauce this way. It's just so much better because if you just do it with the tomatoes in, you have to have it on low so you don't burn the tomatoes, and it takes forever. I guess I'm just impatient. This is a lot faster way to do it. It boils the liquid out. You end up with a good thick sauce. It works out well.
Well, it gives you a lot of control.
It does. You can boil it down as little as you want. So, but now I just have a lot of pureeing to do. I have 6 9x13 pans to puree up, and then split it in half for soup and half for pizza sauce.
Awesome. Well, we'll catch up with you later.
Okay. I wound up with 40 cups of tomato puree with the onion and garlic in it. Mix that all together in one pot so the onion and garlic were distributed evenly, and then I split it. 20 cups for pizza sauce, 20 cups for soup. I started with the pizza sauce. All I did was add some salt, pepper, sugar, oregano, basil, and a little bit of chipotle chili powder. I always like just a little bit of heat. And I didn't add any of the liquid. It's like the perfect texture without adding any liquid or really cooking it down much more. So now the pizza sauce is ready to can. And I am going to water bath can it, and I'll be putting lemon in each jar. But then the soup, I'll be pressure canning.
And why is that?
Well, it has some other stuff in it. It has chicken broth and things that can't be water bath canned. So I will pressure can the soup, and it'll be the first time I use my Presto pressure canner. We had to get a new canner because I had the All-American that's not compatible with an induction stove. So you'll see me using my Presto pressure canner for the first time.
You got a lot of your viewers recommended that, didn't they?
Yeah. I asked in one of my videos what would be the best thing for an induction stove, and everybody said the Presto. So that's what I got. So I'll be anxious to use it for the first time. Probably at least 2 canner loads of soup. And I like the tomato soup. I use it for 2 things. We do eat it as soup, but usually make a cream soup. When I get it out of the jar, I'll add some cream to it and stuff. Donnie always likes cream soups. But then a lot of it I use when I make that roasted red pepper soup that has a tomato soup base. So between those 2, we go through a lot of tomato soup.
So the marathon is winding down.
Yes. I'll have 2 products soon done, 1 more to go. And I'm tired. Okay, I'm about ready to use my pressure canner for the first time. I have the nice hot sterilized jars, nice hot soup, and the water in the canister is warm. I put 3 quarts. That's what the Presto book said to do. So there's 3 quarts of water in there. I'm going to fill the jars of soup to 1-inch headspace and process them for 60 minutes. Wish me luck on my new canner.
So is that the end of the line?
That's the last of the tomato products. That was the soup. Yeah, that's a lot of work. But we have some amazing tomato products now. Ended up with 20 half pints of pizza sauce, so we're going to eat a lot of pizza this year. 14 quarts of sauce, 7 pints, that's spaghetti sauce, and 9 quarts of wonderful tomato soup. So all in all, a really good session, but I'm tired.
Yeah, so that's why you call it a marathon. It pretty much went most of the weekend, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Yeah. Brenda, can I say something?
What?
I love you for all this hard work for our whole family.
Yeah, all the family enjoys it. So.
It is. You're amazing. Thank you.
I'm going to blush. Well, thank you. That was sweet. So, I love my Presto canner. for all you that recommended it, it was wonderful. It worked perfectly, and I'm completely happy with it. I thought I was going to have a hard time letting go of my All-American, but this is really nice. So, wonderful. And something else I'm happy with, this is the first time I used the 4 jars canning lids. I've always used ball jars, ball lids, but I saw in a couple of my canning groups they talked about these, and out of all this, I had one fail. There's only one that didn't see it. It was probably my error. But I'll say I'm so far a thumbs up on these.
So again, we're not sponsored, but
No,
you like the ball lids and those,
Yeah,
they both work
yeah.
equally as well?
But I think these are a little bit less expensive.
Okay.
You can get large quantities, and they have coupons and stuff. So I'm happy with them.
Oh, that's right. The ball ones come in those little tiny
Yeah,
containers,
yeah,
don't they?
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'm tickled. So I'm ready to put my jammies on, get ready for bed. And tomorrow we'll take all this down to the larder. Start putting stuff away. The larder's in bad shape. I've been canning and canning, but I haven't put anything away. It's all just sitting on the floor in the larder. So that's my next project. That's another marathon. But that'll be more fun, I think. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that one. So thanks for joining on my tomato marathon, and we will see you in our next video. Bye-bye.